In 2008, the average American had no idea what was coming. The stock market was at record highs. Home prices had never been higher. Consumer spending was holding up. And then in the span of 18 months, $13 trillion in household wealth disappeared. Not slowly, not gradually, gone. And right now, in 2026, if you look at the data, not the headlines, the actual data, you will find the same patterns repeating, almost beat for beat. In 2006, 2 years before the crash, the Federal Reserve ran a survey asking Americans how they felt about their financial situation. 60% said things were getting better. Consumer confidence was high. The economy looked strong on paper. In 2026, that same survey shows consumer sentiment has collapsed to its lowest level ever recorded. Lower than 2008. Lower than the pandemic. Lower than the early 80s recession. So Americans already feel something is wrong. They just don't know what yet. Let's follow the money. Because the 2008 crash didn't start with the stock market. It started with debt. Specifically, debt that was being handed out to people who could never realistically pay it back. Banks were issuing mortgages to anyone with a pulse. No income verification. No down payment. No problem. The assumption was simple. Home prices always go up, so the collateral is always safe. That assumption broke in 2007. Home prices started falling. The loans went bad. And the entire financial system, which had been built on top of those loans, started collapsing like a tower of cards in slow motion. Now look at 2026. Americans are currently carrying $1.25 trillion in credit card debt. The average interest rate on that debt is 23%. And 33% of people carrying that debt say they're using it for day-to-day expenses. Not vacations, groceries, rent, utilities. This is called survival debt. And survival debt has one ending, default. Buy now, pay later has spread to 90 million Americans. More than a quarter of them are using it for groceries. The personal savings rate has dropped to 2.6%. And for the bottom half of the country, the savings rate, the stock market is at record highs right now. The S&P 500 has hit 23 record highs this year alone. Sound familiar? Because this is exactly what 2006 looked like from the outside. Everything was fine right until it wasn't. In 2008, it was overvalued housing. The assumption was prices always go up. In 2026, it's overvalued assets sitting on top of a consumer base that is quietly running out of money. There is one number that should concern every American right now. The delinquency rate on credit cards has risen to its highest level since 2011, and it is rising every single quarter. When delinquencies rise, banks tighten lending. When banks tighten lending, consumer spending falls. When consumer spending falls, corporate revenues fall. When corporate revenues fall, layoffs begin, and the cycle accelerates. None of this means a crash is guaranteed tomorrow. But delay is not the same as fix. The debt is still there. The delinquencies are still rising. The savings are still disappearing. In 2008, the people who saw it coming weren't the ones on TV telling you everything was fine. They were the ones quietly reading the data that nobody wanted to talk about. The data exists right now. You just have to be willing to look at it. Hit subscribe, because the next 18 months are going to be very interesting.